The video idea came from when I was journaling about how half the year has passed, but it was more of a progress tracker than a journal. I was seeing the amounts of growth and progress that's been made in the past 6 months. The hardest part of the whole journey was honestly to keep going, to continuously pray about it and continue to work towards your goals before the results showed. The only things that kept me going the whole time was my faith and fight. Faith that it's gonna work out and fight just to keep going. Sometimes the thoughts do creep in. It's been so long, is it really worth it? Days where I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing it, but honestly, the one thing about me is that I find it hard to give up on something. Just wanted to speak about like a life update. So lately, I have kind of been in a rut, and normally I would like tell myself, "Oh, wait till Monday. We can start again on Monday." But then I was just like, "Let me just start now to start building that consistency again." But the reason why I have been in a rut is because no, I won't lie. So I've this is like the third or fourth time I've planned to drop, or it's just I guess I'm just learning to have faith during this time. And I thought that well, when you start a business, it kind of does change you before the business changes, and I guess it has. Well, I'm learning to adapt to that change. I'm just learning to control what I can control, and honestly, it is kind of hard like just have I'm just learning to have faith during this time because obviously there are things out of my control, like for example, and I've spoken about it before, but it is the funding. Yeah, so it was a brand called the Good Steward. They had a competition where they were funding your first job, and in my mind, I thought in fact I thought I was gonna monkeys, my bad. So yeah, I thought I was gonna get it, and I did send them a lot of entries, and I get why they would be irritated. But then that didn't work out, and it's also a good thing that the drop didn't work out because I've made so many mistakes that only after it didn't work out I'm like, oh, I learned. So it's probably a good thing that it didn't work out the first time, and it also didn't work out with the funding because then after that I've changed the design a few times. I'm gonna Well, yeah, I finished the first drop. Well, not the first drop, but the first part of the collection. I'm gonna work on the others this week. But yeah, I'm also learning that sometimes closed doors aren't like permanently closed. I'm just learning. Well, I'm trying to have that perspective that it is redirection. Because when things don't work out, I won't lie. At first, you're angry about it, and you just try to like understand why. But then sometimes it is for the better. Ooh, a few of the doors did close, and at that time I really wasn't like happy about it, and it kind of did put me out of that consistency. I'm just learning to build that consistency again, just learning to control what I can and just to continuously have faith and just to keep fighting because I don't know when that door will open or when the opportunity will come. So at least if I just keep fighting, I will be ready by the time it does happen. And I think the biggest thing is just learning to trust God's timing, especially since when you come to faith, there's a lot that you can't control. And as much as you would like, well, I would have loved to start earlier or have the first drop earlier. Because if most of the time, if we do things on our own timing, or if we do things the way we want things done, eventually we end up messing up or flopping because we try to control everything. So I guess that's the type of journey I'm on. I'm just trying to keep. Well, I was gonna wait till Monday, but I started Wednesday or Thursday. I just started trying to get back into a routine, just starting to get my mental right, and just working on myself for now, working on the business too, and just waiting for that time to be ready. Part of the reason why I think people would think I am crazy because it's been I wanna well starting from this year, so 7 months. But if you start from December, it has been like 8 months. I have been working on it, and there have been a lot of closed doors. That if you do tell people what happened, they've been like, "Oh, why didn't you stop? Why didn't you quit?" Or why did you just leave it? Or why did you just take it from a sign from God that it isn't for you? And I don't know, maybe it isn't, but I actually don't know. I won't lie. But I don't know. Yeah, I have thoughts like that, but then every day I just wake up, I start working towards it again. I just keep having faith that eventually the goals that I want to achieve, if I keep working towards them, I will achieve them. I will achieve them before the end of the year. Those are probably one of the best qualities I have developed or I'm developing is faith and just continuously working towards it. Just that fight to never give up despite what happens or what life throws at you. I'm not sure of the Bible verse, I'm just paraphrasing, but it speaks about um, how enduring in suffering builds reverence, faith, strength. I know somewhere in Romans, but I'm just paraphrasing. So that, yeah, that actually has helped me a lot. And hopefully, honestly, the best advice I can give someone is there will be hard days, there will be good and bad days. Don't let the bad days get you low, and don't let the good days get you so high. Just falling in love with the mundane. Because when you do something over and over again, eventually it does get boring. And sometimes I think that's what like makes most people lose their spark. It's just continuously working towards something. I think that's why I kind of did lose my spark because I'd work towards it and then something would mess up or something wouldn't go the way I planned it. And then I'll just be in a rut all over again. So now I'm just trying to fix my mentality now that things are going to happen out of my control. And all I can just do is just stay consistent. Even if it's like something small that I do every day, it's gonna those small habits build up. No, I probably spoke about it earlier on about the whole reflection that I did. So normally I probably like don't share everything I do, but like journaling is something I actually got back into. I used to do it and then I stopped for a while and I saw how much it was affecting me. But it's something I got back into. And after like normally after 6 months I do like a half year reflection, but this time it was more of a progress report and reflection in a way. And maybe in my mind, because I was focusing on what hadn't happened, I didn't realize that over time how much I have grown and how much I have like developed in my faith and in achieving my goals and working towards them. Because for a while I was actually I wouldn't say isolation, but I did kind of like grind mode basically. I went on grind mode and I didn't really hang out with anyone or like speak to anyone because there were times that things happened. So I was also just learning to figure that out too. But when I saw my family, yeah, I saw my family and they were just speaking about how much I've changed and how much I've grown. Even like, yeah, I saw a few of my friends too. They were also talking about like how much I've changed and grown. Some of them were like, "Oh, you switched up and stuff." I'm like, I was just trying to focus on life and also because I didn't really tell anyone that things were happening. They didn't really know. I don't blame them, but like they were also talking about how much I've changed and grown. And only then did I like realize that at the beginning of the year, all I had was uh, all I had was a tablet. Yeah, and I was telling myself, nah, I can't record. It's cringe. I'm scared. I'm scared, and all of that. I won't say I perfected it because that I really haven't. But it's just something I'm learning as I go. Sometimes maybe you won't hear it from other people, but like just tell yourself that you're proud of yourself. Because over 6 months, I mean, just very vaguely, over 6 months, I started the business. I'm learning to scale the business. And that's like, I had no knowledge about any of this. I was just blessed with the idea that I get to work on and blessed with something to build to also help people. But also during the time I did create, okay, I won't lie, it was first WhatsApp communities, but then I realized that I just leaked my number. Well, I would be leaking my number. So I was just like, you know what? Let me succumb to peer pressure and create a Discord community. But this time, as much as I was like, at first I was like, it'll be announcements and a group to help people. Eventually, I just settled on, nah, let me just create a community where people can receive help or just open up and speak. The boys one is boys to men, kind of from high school. I think that's where it kind of stemmed on because high school we had boys to men. It wasn't singing. It was just a group where us as the older seniors got to speak to the juniors. So there's one for men and women. I just created them because like obviously many people don't really talk about what's going on in their lives, and some of them need guidance. I know I needed it, so I just created it for the older generation to speak to the younger generation, just give them advice. Also for us too, because times have changed. So maybe we can also help the older generation too. This is probably the only like main thing that I would share. It's like, dog, my part got broke. Anyways, I think the main thing about the business is just to do some good in the world. Because obviously I can't change the things that I have done in the past or the life I used to live. But just to be able to do some sort of good in the world, good in the world, and just try to help someone out there, even if it's just one small difference I can make, or anyone starting a clothing brand, or in fact your journey, any small difference you can make with your journey. It doesn't really have to be a clothing brand. It could be whatever journey you choose to embark on in life. Just hope it just helps someone out there, and then that spreads, and then eventually good spreads. That's the main goal, just to try help one person or help someone. So yeah, let me get the B-roll for the rest of this video. And I'm actually pathetic. It sounded like a good idea at first, but now my sinuses and allergies are killing me right now. So let me get the B-roll and get out of here, cause yo, I'm hungry. Oh, dog, it always happens. Every time I record this. So many things which most would have taken as a sign to stop happened, but I ended up coming up with a different idea and working towards it. When a door closes, another one opens. Many of the plans I had didn't come true, and obviously in the moment I didn't understand, but throughout everything I kept faith and kept going. There were times where I lost that spark and I couldn't fight anymore. But I realized that whenever something didn't work out, it was because there was always a silver lining towards it. There are many of us trying to do some good in the world or pursue a goal. It may be easier for others than you, and sometimes there are days where you've been surviving, and I'm like many of you. I don't have everything figured out, so I guess that's where faith comes in. So this is just a little behind the scene of my design process. I'm just trying to finish up this quick sketch and design to send to the manufacturer. So I just decided to have a conversation too. It is the hardest thing of not just this journey, but like most journeys in life to keep going, especially before the results show or before anything happens. Because with me, the plans for funding, for example, I had didn't really go through. So, well, first there was a brand that held a competition for funding, and I honestly did think I was gonna get it. But I sent them some of my old designs. So obviously, even I was just designing at that point. So even I was like, I don't really blame them. But like, it still kind of hurt too that I kind of planned around that whole drop to fund it. It was also a good thing though, because over that time I have done a few changes. So sometimes when things don't work out, it is redirection or it is for the better. Uh, Obviously, there are times where when I'm praying, I ask why it didn't work out or how come it hasn't worked out for so long. Like everyone else seems to have life figured out, but I'm still here trying to just launch everything. Not even I know I'm still grateful for it. Yes, there are hard days. I definitely won't lie. There are some really hard days, but as I said before, all I, well, what's been keeping me going is my faith that everything will work out eventually and the fights just to keep going. I've done it, I've already done this. I've already done an online one, the mock-up already. It's just a sketch just for me to have of the last design because there's been like four, five designs. I think honestly the biggest thing for me this year was growth, and I was focused on everything I haven't really achieved and everything that's gone wrong in my life. So it's just hard. Sometimes I do feel behind that everyone seems to have everything figured out, but I'm still trying to figure out the direction of my life. I think that also plays in with faith and just controlling what you can control. All I can just do is put in the work and just have the faith that if it's for me, it'll work out, and if it isn't for me, then it won't work out. And just learning to live with it would happen, or something would work out, then it doesn't work out. Then eventually, like, okay, it's misdirection. So you try another plan, another plan, another plan. And all I had in mind was if I keep knocking on a door, eventually some door will open. I think that's probably the best advice I can give someone. Just to keep having faith, just to keep fighting, and just keep knocking because eventually a door will open. While I was just reflecting on the things that I was doing last year, last few years, and the life I was living. And I'm happy that I'm not doing those things anymore. And after my family was saying it, I also just realized that I should just focus, not even focus, just to be proud of what has happened. Because in terms of my personal life, there was a lot of nonsense I was doing that I'm not doing anymore. And I was even like seeing some old pictures where I really was not looking after myself. But now I've been journaling, reading. I actually enjoy reading now. It's strange because as a kid I used to hate reading, but now I actually enjoy reading. Just taking some time off the phone really does help with my mental. Even though I don't really record it because there are some aspects of my life in terms of my training that I want to start continue doing and my prayer life that I still keep sacred that I don't really show. But in terms of the non the things I used to do and how much I've changed in a good way, it just shows that even though things haven't worked out really for the business, there's been growth that I've failed to see. Also, while I was reflecting, something else I realized was just I was so focused on what wasn't happening, I forgot that was Waibu. I forgot what was happening and how much progress I made. Because when I was first blessed with the idea to start a clothing brand to help people, I only had the tablet, and I lost, what's this, the willpower to do it. Because like myself, I went on YouTube to see how it's done and everything, and I'm seeing everyone with some crazy ideas. I just saw everyone with things that I didn't have. So obviously I was discouraged. I'm like, oh no, how the heck am I supposed to start doing this? Everyone's doing a clothing brand. Also, another thing you don't realize is not a lot of people do the thing that you want to do. Because, for example, when I used to love basketball, I used to watch a lot of basketball videos. So I'm like, there's so many people playing basketball. How will it work out? All of that. But then it's only like that if that's your niche, basically. If you go and just fill yourself with that content, obviously it's gonna seem like a lot, but when you realize it, not a lot of people do it. So yeah, when I started off, all I had was a tablet and an idea. And now, so far, I mean, I'm gonna finish it during the week, but right now I'm finishing the last design for the uh, what's it called? Not Wabi Sabi, the translation, the Beauty Behind Imperfections collection. So yeah, I'm finishing the design now. Manufacture. Oh yeah, they're just waiting for me to pay for samples now. But other than that, everything for the first piece of the collection is done. I'm just working on the other collection now. But yeah, and it took 6 months for me to make all of this progress. In fact, there was a time where I was even like petrified to record. I still kind of am. I don't know how people are used to this, but like I was petrified to record. And then eventually I was just like, man. And then also when I was speaking with my cousin too, I saw he was also starting to record and document his journey. So it kind of gave me motivation to also be like, I also need to start recording.